The Crash Course Podcast is brought to you in part by DerbyParts.com and GH Graphics and their Junket Apparel line. The 2015 Bash for Cash and Smash It Demolition Derby. Bo Lockwood Motorsports and the 2015 Keystone National. NAPA WinterSLAM 2015 and Derby Inc. magazine. Live it, breathe it, be it, Derby Inc. This is the Crash Course Demolition Derby podcast, recorded live at the FingerLakes1.com studios in downtown Seneca Falls, New York. And now your host, Chris Marport.
Good afternoon, good evening, welcome to the Crash Course podcast. Had to make a quick adjustment on that. We got Matt Ertman coming up here in just about 2 minutes. A little bit of technical difficulty getting out of the blocks, but you will note, Brian Tompkins, that it was a fairly smooth transition to our show. Did you see that? It didn't drop off sharp, nothing. We got all that stuff figured out.
Sometimes it's better to be lucky than good.
Yes, that's true. That's true. We're also going to be at the backside of the show, we're going to be talking a little bit about Chad Ellman. Our condolences out to the family. Chad passed away very unexpectedly last week. He was 42. We'll be talking about him on the second half of the show. Also got a little bit of information coming up from the Northeast Championship. But the big news this week, the return.
Shit.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You can get your shit counter going now. See?
Ben's back, and he received some disheartening news this week when he found out that the reason why he couldn't drive all this time since his surgery was because he was on pain medicine that he stopped taking 3 days after the procedure, and it left him on the bench at home with a perfectly well functioning pickup truck out in the front driveway.
No, my nephew is home from Iowa State for Christmas break here, and I just said, here, go ahead and take it. And that worked out very well with him because he's an avid bird hunter. So he got out and got some birds shot and just helped him out a little bit. So saved me some gas money.
Other than that, are you feeling better?
Yeah, I think, like I've been telling Brian right along, I think most of the problem is I feel better than I'm supposed to. So I have to be conscious of what I'm doing. I still have a weight, still can't really pick nothing up. So hopefully that all changed on the 20th. So
I didn't know how much you wanted it publicized about what you had done, but there's a lot of people are asking, well, hey, where's Ben? How's he doing? Asking about you. So
I had over.
It was a much awaited return.
I had over half my disc taken, my L5 disc taken out, so that was ruptured.
Jack Clark's watching at home, and he's good to see you're back.
Ben,
Thank you.
Ben's a steel worker, and I worked with him for a while, and people that know Ben know that Ben is very an intense person, and at work it's even ratcheted up more. And unfortunately, like a lot of steel workers, it got to Ben's back. And the last time he was on the show, he was noticeably in a lot of pain. And then the following week, he MRI on Monday, they read it on Tuesday, surgery on Wednesday.
Yeah, it was.
They weren't delayed, that sucker.
As soon as the doctor seen it, he showed me the picture, and I was like, oh, what are we going to do? He says, well, you're going next door to get admitted, and we're having surgery in the morning. I'm like, okay, as long as it's a solution, that's all that matters to me. So I've been talking to a lot of different people, and it's going to sideline me for a year from driving, maybe a little bit longer. Which is
horrible news for everybody else. It's a lot of build time.
Right, which that's been my comment. I'll just, take my time, take a year and build a car for 2016.
Andy Lee got his procedures messed up. Andy Lee is a young up-and-coming driver in Waterloo, and he goes, now, do you call that a hysterectomy? No, Andy. That's not what that is.
Yeah.
That's not even close to
not even close.
There's Andy. Oh, nope, that's not Andy.
Yeah, I actually went and seen Ben the night of the surgery, and he was definitely in. You could tell he was in pain, and
I wasn't in pain after the surgery.
Well, he was. He got up to use the bathroom, and he was kind of walking like he was somewhere in the vicinity of 90. But then him and Stacy explained how much of the Stacy more so, because obviously Ben was a little incoherent when he came out, but they took large chunks out of his back, But we spent some time after a couple weeks. He was with us when we went down to Josh's, and steadily improving. Great to see you back.
Yeah.
Hopefully, I know a guy that's building a Cadillac for Brett's show that would love to have some help. If
I've read the rules pretty good. I know the rules pretty good by now. So I was gonna look at the rules anyway. Well, it's gonna be a good show. He's gonna have a hell of a show down there.
You can watch it. You can watch it on pay-per-view.
well, he'll probably be part of the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
No, everybody at home.
Well,
you can't watch. Well, you can watch it on pay-per-view after the fact. Your mom will watch it.
Well,
She
I
doesn't-
don't know. As long as I'm pretty hot-headed and not good with people, so am I going to be able to be there or what? I gotta make sure. I gotta make sure I can be able to be.
You can
there.
work. You can work with me. You can be as hot-headed as you want.
Yeah, all right.
I'm understated and even killed and quiet, so I need somebody that's gonna amp things up.
Well,
So you can just go out there and call people over the
everybody
names you
thought
want
I
to.
was always amped up on Mountain Dew, and they blamed it on that before. Wait till they find out when I don't.
Now, are you
have
still
that.
off of that? Have you still nixed that, or are you back in the game?
We'll use the term because it's an addiction. I mean, I've been sober since I went in from the surgery. Which truly, that's a big accomplishment for me. I mean,
Pretty trippy.
It's healthy and it's good. So I've stayed ready with soda completely.
How'd you describe it? If you drink too much soda, that your feet could fill with piss.
That's Josh's terminology.
was Josh.
Josh was always threatening me with that, telling me that I was gonna walk around. I was gonna walk around with legs like this big around because they're full of piss. And I'm like, no, it's not.
Which is not
no,
accurate.
Josh. No.
And
So
of course, Josh isn't here tonight. He sent us all a text saying that he was having some vehicle trouble. And Chris tried to get the helicopter scrambled for him, but with the impending storm, he wasn't able to make the flight. So
Didn't come together.
Fortunately-
I could have went and picked him up. I can drive now. I'm like a 16-year-old with a license now.
Looking to go anywhere.
Bob's Firebird.
Yeah.
Or
I should have sent the
Skylarker.
helicopter. I should have sent the helicopter to go get Matt Ertman, who's joining us on the hotline. Matt, man, welcome to the
Nice.
show.
Hey, thanks. Have a night.
Hey, thanks for joining us here. We're going to talk a little bit first about Crossroads of Destruction, co-promoting that with Paul Nielsen out there. I mean, how's everything going? We talked on the phone earlier this week. You said that the entries are piling in already.
Yeah, the entries are piling in. We opened it up December 1st for everybody that ran last year. We gave them a month, which I think is a little bit too much time. But January 1st, it opened up for everybody else and then run, and we got a lot of new interest, so that's good. And a lot of people coming back from last year. Randy Lanou won the 80s chain class there last year, so he's coming back. He's all jacked up.
Nice.
So
In terms of that show, you guys are you're going into year 3 this year, right?
yeah, year 3. Yeah. 2 years ago, we started it. We had 17 inches of snow 2 days before the event.
Wow.
Yikes!
Welcome to Minnesota.
That was not the greatest way to start out, but we rebounded back last year. We had a great show last year. A lot of people came. A lot of good cars got wrecked, and I guess that's what I want to see is people come have fun and wreck some cars.
Tell us a little bit about your background in demolition derby and how you got into the sport and where you come from.
Well, I got into the sport a long time ago. I always used to like to go watch the county fairs when I was just a little sized student at 5'6", and then one of my buddies, Sheldon, he derbied all the time, and I was always helping him. And then finally one day he said, "You want to drive?" And he bought me an old car, and we bashed the windows out of it. We didn't really know what we were doing back then really that much, and went and had a good time. I suppose that was about 17 years ago now, and I've been hooked ever since. Can't get away from it.
That's usually how it goes.
Yeah.
It is an addiction.
Yeah.
What challenges have you guys faced going into year 3 with Crossroads of Destruction? I mean, it's one of the shows that everybody hears about. You were 9th, I believe, on the top 10 list. I mean, coming out for your second year to break the top 10 on the top derbies in the world that Demolition Derby League put out, it's got to mean a lot for you guys.
Well, yeah, it means a lot. I mean, we're just trying to promote a family fun show that everybody wants to come to. The on the driver's inspection day, we inspect cars on Friday and we wreck them on Saturday. And Friday we cook and grill for everybody that comes, no charge. We have fun, drink some beer at the end of the night, and try to get everybody involved. Even the little guys, we got kids power wheels. That's taken off pretty big. I mean, that's nationwide now.
Oh yeah.
And it's always fun to watch them guys tear it up on the concrete asphalt right out in front of the grandstands.
And you're working with Paul Nielsen on this show.
Yeah, Paul Nielsen and we started this derby because I took him on a hunting trip, and I talked about it for about 14 hours on our way out to Nebraska and back, and I wouldn't talk about anything else. And then we come back, and we decided we were going to do it and pay some decent money. And in the state of Minnesota, we really never had the show or a show where, it was a bigger event. We always have to travel 5-6 hours to get there. And I said, well, that's not very fun. I mean, we got a lot of good drivers in our area that, can't really afford to travel like that, and try to make something affordable, a little closer to home for everybody else to enjoy too.
I never really, until like the last year or so, I've never realized the following that Derby has in Minnesota. I mean,
huge there.
We went to we went to WinterSLAM last year, and I mean the place was full. And we've met people this year, and so many people on Facebook are from Minnesota. I mean, great derby, and I would love to go to Minnesota and watch a derby in the summer when it's dry and they can get traction, because if they drive the same way then they do in the winter, then they have got to they have got to just junk stuff.
Oh, I mean, like Bandow's been posting the pictures there that Turn Back the Clock show, and they all Lacey's and him all came down to run that year, and they invited me out to come watch Pine City. So you want one to watch? Come up and watch Pine City. Imperial wise, and but it's huge. I mean,
it's awesome.
And they unhooked the.
We like to drive.
Yeah,
there's no doubt
about it.
You don't like to be out there very long either.
Put that stuff over on to the next thing.
No. When I talk to them guys, all their cars, we're talking, I'm like, well, how's your car set up for? And he's like, what do you mean? I'm like, time-wise. And I'm pretty sure I was talking to Bandow back then before I really knew him. And he says, I'm set up for like 15, 20 minutes. And I'm like, dude, this is going to last like 45 minutes. He goes, well, I'm screwed after 20 minutes. He goes, but they're going to know we're out there for 20 minutes, because he says that's average, up there.
That's crazy.
And
we had a ton of fun this summer going up to WinterSLAM in February when it was freezing, and then we got to go back to Minnesota in August for the Grand Slam show in Wadena when it was 6 inches from the sun hot. and that was the first heat on the track. It was Chris Lancaster's heat, and CJ Zacharias was on the track. They put 3 teams in half the arena, and it was just way too wet. But then the rest of the track was still in much better shape. It was just drier. They didn't put as much water on it yet, and they continued to keep that trend. And that show was fantastic.
Oh yeah, I mean, when we were on the plane flying west for Blizzard Bash, and it was a great show. I mean, that was excellent. I would definitely like to get the one in person and just like I said, I think it would really be something good to go watch. I think there's a lot of hard drivers, a lot of good builders. I think it'd be a good time.
Definitely worth watching when the dust's flying, not the snow dust. Enjoyment factor is a little bit different. And your teeth aren't chattering.
It does have the sport has a huge foothold up there. And so who are some of the drivers that people can expect to see at Crossroads this year?
Well, I don't have really a driver's list in front of me right now, but I know Sam Bandow was talking about bringing the imp down.
Yeah, that's the name I was waiting for.
I think he finished up third last year in the imp class, and that was a fun class to watch. It was fast paced, and I think it lasted about 12 minutes, but there was total junk on the track afterwards.
Yeah.
Yep, that's right.
Yep.
12-minute imp class.
The old iron class last year was fast paced. The 80s class, there's a little bit more money involved there, so they toned it down a little bit. Well, I shouldn't say that. There's there's some guys from Illinois that came up and they ripped that track apart, and that was pretty fun to watch them. One of them took the Mad Dog of the Day award home from down there. Hope they come back, and Jesse Cruz from over by Austin, Minnesota, over that direction. He came and brought a Diplomat, and he destroyed it in the heat in about 5 minutes. But, man, it was fun to watch him.
Didn't he run a truck last year at WinterSLAM?
Yeah, I think so. I know the name as soon as he said it.
I thought he built 2 trucks and
he was the one I think it came down to in that group that they were just out there for like 25 minutes and nobody was dropping out.
Brett Nelson won it.
And, I almost think he was in that group. I can't remember shit from last week.
Not gonna lie, I saw a lot of drivers this year.
Moderate, man. You're letting me down here. It's on you.
But Jesse's a good pickup, and I mean, I love watching the guys out there drive.
Yeah,
I mean, it's this Crossroads show. We're trying to put together a deal where we're gonna go out there, and in principle, we all want to go. We just got to make sure that it's gonna work out for everybody at the same time, and it's gonna be a fun show. And Matt's gonna get the chance to drive here before he gets to Crossroads. He's got a car coming together for WinterSLAM.
Cool.
Nice.
Another 80s car. Ran one up there last year, took second. Always seem to take second at that show. I can't get over that barrier.
Don't say it like that, because one of the compact guys did get over the barrier.
That was pretty fun to watch. He always was on the beer tent.
That's what he was headed for.
Yeah, hit it right through the beer tent.
What made me really nervous was most of the stuff was destroyed, and then the compact went over the wall, where the rest of the stuff that hadn't been destroyed yet was parked.
Yeah.
And I was like, let's just leave it all here. Let's just run it over. Yeah. Let's just be done with it. There's insurance on this stuff. Oh, wait.
Yeah.
UPS.
Yeah. Yeah, Randy and Jeremy and Joey Saunders, they got a pretty good show going up, in Garden City. They started that, and I think it was 2010 or 9 or something like that, and they've done a real good job of keeping that going, and it seems to be growing every year. So kudos to them guys. Jeremy is my brother, and it's pretty nice for me to see that he got, I think, number 5 on the list of the.
Yeah, they were 5th.
Yeah,
I think.
One spot behind Keystone Nationals.
5, and then I'm 9, coming in 9. So, I mean, our family loves this sport just as much as anybody else,
When it comes to Demolition Derby, what do you do better than your brother?
Putting one on? I don't know.
Chris Marquardt, he brings people together.
Yeah. One form or another.
In the Derby, actually driving in the Derby, I win. He doesn't.
Now do you two have a totally different car makes you like to run? I mean, do you favor towards like new styles and he's old style, or you're both new style, or?
Well, he comes in and runs once in a while anymore, but he used to run a lot, and he liked his older stuff, but the rules kept changing on him, and he couldn't cheat, I don't think, as much, so then he kind of quit. That's probably why he's a pretty good promoter.
I agree with that.
This is awesome.
That's what you got to do when everybody catches up to you. You just got to you got to start putting shows on, and then you don't have to live with that.
I think we ought to have the Ertman brothers on when we're the pre-show at WinterSLAM, and we can discuss it among family and friends.
You think that's a good idea?
Absolutely.
I'm looking forward to it.
I think it's a great idea.
I think they call that ratings. I think that's ratings is what we're looking at there, bud. Plus, we'll be in the heated beer tent. Nobody can turn that down in Minnesota in February.
No, nobody can. It's gonna be a popular place. You guys have had a decent stretch of weather out there, but I hear from Randy that things turned here the last couple days.
Yeah, it's been cold. This morning, I think it was 10 below when I woke up. Wind didn't blow today, so that was kind of nice. But last week, we had some pretty good storms coming through, and fortunately, I was in Oklahoma for all that, so I didn't catch any of that. So,
yeah, I saw some pictures from some guys up there, and it definitely looked cold and a lot of snow.
Uh-huh.
But
my wife was sending me pictures while I was in Oklahoma. She wasn't very impressed.
But I mean,
Winter.
yeah, yeah, it is winter. But
You'll have that, I guess.
You'll have that.
it's kind of that Midwest thing because the last couple of weeks I'd keep in touch with Daniel Orton. We'd be talking. He's like, yeah, it's 17 below. He sent me a thing one day. It was 17 below as he was getting in his truck. I'm like, dude, you can keep all that stuff out there. Then all of a sudden, here. And I'm like, yeah, you can haul back out here and get that stuff and take it back with you. It's warming up now. I talked to Kenny Rosno. He said end of the week it's going to be 40. He plans on painting his car. And I'm like, you can start sending that 40 stuff here because now that I'm old, I'm not a fan of this cold and blowing wind and that stuff anymore. I just not a fan.
Yeah, well, I wasn't expecting in May of 2012 for 17 inches of snow fall 2 days before an event over in Elmer Lee, Minnesota either. But
No.
I mean, that's just the way Minnesota weather is.
Yeah, that would definitely throw a kink in things.
Don't want you spoiled.
And I'm sure at that time the ground obviously was thawed. So I mean, it had to, even with the snow gone, it had to be just a messy, sloppy mess for you to have to deal with.
Oh, it was terrible, and we had people coming from like 3 states and Canada, and I was like, well, we got to do it,
Yeah.
And I got out there and we got some guys together, we tried to push the snow off. I brought my skid loader over there, got everything, tried to get everything dried out, but it was just too much. And then the day of inspection, I think it snowed another 3 inches or something.
Wow.
And so I was out there trying to, and then, I thought it was done. I mean, after that derby, I thought it was done because most of the cars didn't get wrecked. A lot of them got stuck.
Yeah.
And it was just a mess, and I felt bad, and I think Colton Newhoff and ended up winning that year, which kudos to him. He found a dry spot and he never really left it, but I mean, there's a few cars towards the end that were starting to get wrecked, but we paid $5,000 to win that whole iron class that year, and it was, everybody was trying to put on a show, but it was just tough. It's kind of a rocky gravel track over there, and any kind of moisture, you kind of sink out of sight. But when it's dry, it's fun.
But I mean, you as a promoter, I mean, to still pay that money out. I mean, that's the thing is I really believe that all drivers want is just a fair shake. They want a fair set of rules, treated well and paid well. And I mean, that's it obviously went a long way for you to keep your word and have good inspectors, good inspection, and pay at the end. I mean, that's I think things like that. That's how you get guys to support you. I mean, that's like I was talking with Randy, and we were talking about how a few guys weren't coming back from last year and running this year. And I said, though, and he didn't think that it was that it was anything they had done negatively. He just said some guys had some other things going on and this and that, and I said no. I said when we were in the pits and around, I didn't hear any bitching. And that's one of those things where a lot of the big shows, it's a continuous theme that. You treat people with respect and you take care of them. They're going to keep supporting you, and obviously, it's working out well for you guys too.
Well, that's why we had some complaints about the Friday inspection, and I'm like, well, there's no way I'm going to be able to inspect 120 cars on a Saturday morning before the Derby. And I want to make sure that all the cars get inspected properly. I look at every car, and if I don't, I mean, I'm right there behind them because like this year, I was only not in the building for 45 minutes, and I was down prepping the track. So any car that comes in, I look at. All the rules and stuff go through me. I changed a few rules, so hopefully this year the 80s class will be a little bit. I mean, it was fun to watch last year, but it'll be a little better, But my biggest thing is I don't want to watch two hammers hit out there. I want to see stuff bend. I think that's what crowd people pay to see, and a little bit lighter build than like Topeka, Kansas, obviously. But Randy's old iron show is about identical, but we can have DPs on the firewall for Crossroads and a 20-inch bumper bracket, so that should be a good show to watch. In the previous years, I never let the 80s run with the old iron because I didn't want it to wreck my 80s count. But this year, I let them in. You can cut and tilt them boxes, and I just want to make sure that everybody's got a class to run. The 80s class is a light build, pretty basic, simple. I mean, you throw it together in a week, I suppose, if you're stuck with it. You know, it doesn't take too much time, and that class pays $4,000 to win. So, and an '80s car at that. So,
Yeah, you can't beat that.
Can't beat that.
That's good pay.
Yep, real good money. Jill Lancaster was up there last year. She shot Crossroads for the magazine.
Yeah, I was gonna say I remember pictures from up there. That's
Does
cool.
a great job.
Yeah, she does. She helps out
A ton.
yeah.
she really, she really helped bring a lot of the Minnesota coverage to the magazine.
Mhm.
I mean, single-handedly, just by it started actually when she sent pictures from WinterSLAM
Yep.
to the first issue.
Yeah.
The show was back in February, and we didn't publish until September, but it didn't exist then. But
Yeah.
it was something, it was something that I mean, I'd never even considered a derby outside in the wintertime.
No.
And sure enough, of all places, Minnesota. Florida, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But Minnesota, do it.
Yeah. Hardy folks up there.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, we ain't got much going on in the middle of the winter, so.
Ice fishing and ice racing is probably pretty popular up there.
I couldn't believe when we were flying in how many places on the lakes had tracks basically blown off of the frozen lake surfaces. That was
cool.
crazy.
That was cool as we
It
were
was
flying in.
all over the place.
Yeah, that was neat.
Cars, trucks, snowmobiles,
Motorcycles.
everything.
You ever do that, race on the lakes in the winter?
Oh yeah, I used to ice race with my brother. We used to do like challenge courses and stuff they'd set up on the lakes, and it was pretty good time except for the inch and a half spikes. You didn't want to fall off or flip your four-wheeler over because they can pretty much kill you.
Yeah, perforate you a little bit.
Wow.
It's like going through a cuber.
Here,
Holy cow. I didn't realize there was spikes that big in them tires. That's nasty.
Yeah, no thanks.
Kind of like snowcross racers.
people race on screws, but they didn't tell us. So we put ice picks in, and they didn't. They said it was fine. So I mean,
Holy cow.
Yeah, for you guys.
Man, that must have got a hold of the ice.
Is there anything you guys don't go overboard with?
well, we try to keep it within the budget, but
Go big or go home.
yeah.
That's
We try. I mean, we try just to have fun. That's what I think about all the Minnesota guys want to do is just have fun and have a good time. And
I
no
like
matter
that.
what you're doing,
So that's what the rules should consist of.
the
build rules.
as much as you can.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Build just to have fun.
Yeah.
So it shows up.
I'm all for having fun, but the thought of being aerated kind of it's a little bit of a deterrent.
But man, you were faster than them guys on the.
You don't say.
Way fast.
Yeah, I would guess so.
We were impressed by Blizzak tires.
Yes.
We were impressed by Blizzaks when we were up there on Kenny Rosno's car, and here we are talking about ice picks,
Yeah.
rotating, high RPM ice picks.
Yeah.
I don't know about all that. That sounds a little dangerous. 8,000 RPMs.
I just said high RPM. I don't know how many RPM. Wouldn't surprise me though if your four-wheeler can do some sort of crazy RPMs. Maybe not.
Yeah, it's just.
I'm trying to. I can't imagine what that would even look like.
Can't wrap your head around that, can you, Chris?
Man, just all I'm envisioning is like a bunch of the really long, basically housing screws,
Yeah.
just sticking out of the back tires of a four-wheeler.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, you definitely wouldn't want to fall off.
Just like
No.
2-inch studs on a track, snowmobile track.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's crazy too.
Just record
Yeah, well,
2-inch
Pretty
studs.
much. It's pretty much what was in the four-wheeler tire.
Yep.
But they were actual ice picks.
That is just insane.
Nice. So what's next for you guys? I mean, is it just a matter of waiting for the calendar to bring you to May 2nd, or have you guys got a lot of stuff lined up to take care of between then and now?
Well, me and Paul have done this derby pretty much on our own. We've had a few sponsors along the way, and we're going to try to get some bigger sponsors, or a few more sponsors anyway, for the season. It's obviously growing, and me and Paul, we when I talked about it, I didn't want to make any money. And I don't really care to make money. I make money 365 other days a year. So I just said I want to do something for the drivers that puts it all back in. And the first year, we lost a lot of money. And
Yeah, I heard it was rough that first year.
That was a rough year. And then the second year putting it on, we pretty much broke even. And now this year, hopefully, we can make a little bit of money to put back in for the 2016 Crossroads of Destruction Derby. So, I mean, we just want to keep improving it, making it bigger, making it more for every kind of style of driver. If you want a light build or if you want a heavier build, the Imperial class, I mean, we try to do there isn't very many places that let you run Imperials anymore. So we thought we'd bring that back. I know there's people that are sitting on them, they don't know what to do with them, so I thought, well, why not throw this stocker Imperial class in and let them get wrecked? I mean, they're doing nothing but rusting out behind the sheds, so
fix it,
I
please.
will get these things right.
How many Imperials did you have for your Imperial heat last year?
I think there was 14, and we paid $2,500 to win.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. It's not bad. And it took 12 minutes.
That's an Imperial junked a minute.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, I think it was about a minute of the car. I think there was 13 cars. It probably took about 13 minutes to get done.
Wow.
So, I mean, they were after it from the green flag drop. They were wide open. It was fun to watch.
Perfect.
Unfortunately, at the end of the Derby, one of the Imperial drivers that took second, Scott Cruz, had a heart attack, and he's okay today.
Yep.
So
Yeah, I remember talking about that.
That deal, but
Yeah, I remember. Now that you say that, I remember talking about that on the show after the fact.
It's good.
I'm glad he's okay, and we got him back in touch here a couple months ago, and we got some plaques for him to hand out to the volunteers that were there that day, and made kind of a little deal out of that, some thank you, them firefighters and first responders that are at all these events. I don't think they get enough appreciation for when something bad like that does happen, So we wanted to set something up. Scott wanted to shake their hand because if it wasn't for them guys, he probably wouldn't be around. So you want to shake their hand, and we gave them all plaques and just try to, promote. Like I said, we try to promote a family-friendly show where, everybody tries to get a little something out of it.
That's very cool.
Anybody, before we let you go, anybody you want to make mention of or let everybody know where they can find out more information about Crossroads of Destruction?
Yeah, you can find out Crossroads on Facebook. Crossroads of Destruction is on Facebook, and then We Crash, we got a link on there, and then contact me or Paul Nielsen. We're both on Facebook. Our numbers are on the internet if you guys want to get a hold of us for rules or any car building questions. You can call me. So.
Hang on.
Uh-oh.
Hang on a second. Hey, Matt.
Yeah.
Jeremy's on the phone. Hey, Jeremy.
Good.
Hey, how are you?
Pretty good. How's everything out there?
Everything's going just fine.
I guess we're not waiting to WinterSLAM, huh?
Listening tonight.
It's what?
I just happened to be listening to you guys tonight.
Yeah.
What do you think so far?
Hi, Matt.
Matt, can you hear him? It might be a little hard because it's on the speakerphone of my cell phone.
I can't really know.
Okay.
I can't.
I'll act as interpreter.
I just want to know one thing. Did he call in to say that he was a better ice racer than me? Because I never said I was.
I don't know. I'm waiting to find out why he called in. He let us know that he was listening at home. Go ahead.
I wanted to give him kudos for saying that he's proud of both of us for what we've accomplished. I think that's very respectable.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
sure.
That was very good.
Well, I'm not sweating as much.
And anything else?
Anything else?
And he never beat me ice racing.
Okay.
Yeah, he did say he wanted to make a point that he never beat you, or he wasn't as good as ice racing.
I got a little bit more of a brain than he does. I was always scared of the picks. He wasn't.
That's good.
No, guys, we got to save this. This is the Minnesota. We come up from WinterSLAM. We'll get you guys, right next to each other at the table. We'll continue the conversation.
That sounds good to me.
That'd be awesome.
We're definitely going to do that. I'm thinking that we could do it before, and then we could do it again after.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then we'll have a much better perspective on the true feelings of all this.
That's great.
Well, Matt, man, I appreciate you coming on the show and telling us a little bit about Crossroads of Destruction, and can't wait to see both of you guys when we get up to WinterSLAM.
Yeah, I'll be looking for you.
We can't wait to see you guys. We're excited.
We'll be up there. I'm a little more nervous about it, not gonna lie.
It's all good.
But well, guys, I appreciate you both calling in, and I look forward to doing this again when you're in person. And that's going to be an interesting one.
Sounds good.
Alrighty,
Thanks a lot, Chris.
guys.
All right,
Thanks a lot,
thank you, guys.
We'll see you later. there goes Matt and Jeremy Ertman. I'm going to go ahead and rate my phone call now through Facebook Messenger. That was Matt, man. Thanks again. I appreciate it. There goes Matt Ertman, co-promoter of Crossroads of Destruction.
That was awesome.
That was awesome.
That was a first.
Yeah.
Hold on a second. He's right here.
That was
Well,
great.
that was pretty good. But why don't we tell you a little bit about one of the shows that we talked about just a few minutes ago? We'll tell you about WinterSLAM quickly, and then we'll be back with it with a couple programming notes.
Get ready for NAPA WinterSLAM. NAPA Auto Parts will bring you the coolest outdoor derby of 2015, scheduled for February 7th at the Blue Earth County Fairgrounds in Garden City, Minnesota. Promoters Randy Maslowski and Jeremy Ertman have tons in store for the earliest outdoor derby of the year. The headline class will pay $1,500, with the compacts, 80 stock, and the event's new truck division each paying $1,000 to win. There will also be most aggressive and longest tow awards, and at this point, all classes are full with only a few vending spots remaining. In the event of weather complications, officials have booked February 14th as a rescheduled date, but only if needed. So come out, dress warm, and break up your winter with a 4-division derby featuring some of the top derby talent in the upper Midwest. Green flags are at 2, and Buster's Sports Bar and Grill has been locked in for the after party again this year. For more information, visit NAPA WinterSLAM's Facebook page or contact Randy Maslowski or Jeremy Ertman via their social media pages. And you thought last year was huge. The Bash for Cash returns to the Demolition Derby Limelight Memorial Day weekend 2015. Every bit of action is returning, and there's some more added in. DerbyParts.com is back with the 80s newer class, paying $11,000 to win. DerbyTees.com is back, paying the turn back the clock winner $10,000. And now the compacts are cashing in, vying for at least $3,000 in their championship event. Action is planned for May 23rd and 24th, again at the Fayette County Fairgrounds in Washington Courthouse, Ohio. Early inspections are planned for Friday, May 22nd. For a full rundown of the schedule and divisions, visit www.smashitderby.com. Bo Lockwood Motorsports is primed for a huge 2015 season. Having expanded to include 4 massive shows, Bo Lockwood and his team look to change the face of Demolition Derby in western Pennsylvania. Their schedule opens May 9th at the Jefferson County Fairgrounds in Brookville, Pennsylvania. It will include one of the richest stock shows around, paying $5,000 to win and $400 to start. The card includes full payback lawnmowers and separate $500 to win truck and compact one-and-done events. Attention then turns to the all-new Keystone Nationals, now being hosted as a standalone event June 27th at the Westmoreland County Fairgrounds in Greensburg, Pennsylvania. The limited well division winner will pocket $10,000, and every feature starter is guaranteed $400. A $1,000 to win stock event will be joined by a $1,000 to win compact feature and full payback lawnmowers and the debut of the Power Wheel. The focus then goes back to Brookville, July 18th for the $3,000 to win Jefferson County Championships in Brookville, Pennsylvania, and the season concludes July 25th with a return to the Clarion County Fairgrounds in Clarion, Pennsylvania. All green flags drop at 6 p.m. and Bo Lockwood has more announcements to come, so stay tuned to Bo Lockwood and Bo Lockwood Motorsports on Facebook.
And we're back.
Bo Lockwood
At least we're supposed to
Motorsports
be.
is primed for a
Whoops.
huge
There we go. I was pulling in some pictures. Is what I was doing. Jeremy Ertman. I don't know how great this picture is actually going to be, but we're going to try it. We'll see what we can do. It looks pretty. You can't see it that great, but you can see the spikes on the four-wheeler there. Programming note for everybody. I've been talking with some folks up in Canada. Jeff and Reg Bono are going to be coming to the studio at some point. So Reg Bono will be here from Canada, and Jeff Schofield is going to be coming out with it. Both of them are going to come in. It's like a 3-hour drive, but Jeff said that it's a bucket list thing, that he pretty much has to be on the show, and he wants to do it live. You know what? By all means, you're more than welcome to come. I look forward to it. So we're going to be booking that here in the next couple of weeks. Maybe we'll try and pair it up so that they can come out see a derby here, and then come to the show Monday, or maybe we'll make it a regular thing. Who knows? But I thought that was kind of cool that those guys were looking to come out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Man, we got lots of casinos.
Yeah, there'll be more by then.
There's going to be at least one more. Yep, that's a true statement. So if anybody's listening at home, that I got the phone open right now. If anybody wants to call in and tell us anything that you remember about Chad Ellman, number 315-257-0023. We'll get into that here in just a second. I wanted to show you a little picture, a couple of pictures that we got of Chad when he's doing his thing out there in Dunkirk. There's a good look at Chad right there in the come on. This isn't as easy to put the pictures up in this system as the other one. There's Chad. He's in the green Imperial. He's a heck of a dude. Chad Ellman unexpectedly passed away last week. He'd been sick with the flu, or something similar to it. There was a pretty nasty bout of the flu going around Dunkirk in his home area, and he eventually succumbed to it, which was unfortunate. I mean, it's something that you never want to see that happen. And Chad was a guy who, everybody loved this dude. He was one of the first guys that I met when I actually went to the Chautauqua County Fair in Dunkirk. One of the first guys that had one of the in-car cameras out there, and he set the stage. He loosened up the inners of the camera before Eric Remington finally broke it completely. Later on the same night, always drove Imperials. He wasn't a fan of doing all the crazy work to his cars. He was really frustrated when I saw him a couple times this summer. He really just genuinely enjoyed just going out and smashing cars. This year at the Lake Erie Rumble Show, Chad ended up taking second to Pat Osman in the stock division, and he was just a hammerhead, but just go and hit whatever he can as fast as he can. And he and his brother Jimmy, and his other brother Todd, he's got the nickname Hollywood. He had that real sharp looking blue Imperial. They always drove blue cars. They own the towing garage out there, and it's going to be a much different trip up there this coming summer without him there. As one of the guys that we really looked forward to seeing every summer. He had two girls, or he had two kids that are left behind. Chad was only 42 years old. The funeral services were Saturday morning after calling hours for Friday. They had a real nasty batch of weather, and 90 was closed between Rochester and Buffalo, and there was still, even Saturday, there was travel bans in Hamburg, but still had a pretty good turnout, and lots of support for the family. And Chad isn't just one of those guys that went out and drove hard and won a bunch of fans that way. He was real popular outside of that too. Helped a lot of guys get their cars back and forth. Obviously, with a towing company, they were able to move cars and help guys get their cars back and forth to the track. And also was known at Ellman's Garage for helping kids in the neighborhood. If they had a flat tire on their bike or something like that, they'd bring it, and he'd be the go-to guy.
Very cool.
To help out with that kind of stuff. And Hank Pensak's boy, Jackson, frequently rode with him and stuff like that. So those guys were pretty close. It's gonna be tough. It was very, very surprising news. I was at school in Mid Lakes, and I got the text message from Eric Remington, and I just looked at it quick and saw the names and everything. Called him a couple times, and I couldn't get through right away. But then I called Hank Pensak, and Hank basically confirmed everything as being fact, and a lot of support online. Alan McNeil had some real nice things to say. Steve Lanen had some nice things to say. Pat Osman, obviously.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think I was off work the day it happened, and I was checking Facebook or whatever, and I think Pat Osman was the first one I read that made mention of it, and obviously I'd never met him, but I mean, obviously from the, the amount of guys that commented and, from that area, I mean, he just sounds like he was a great guy, kind of, sounded like their version of maybe a Rick Englehart, great heart, great guy to, wanted to help and just, enjoyed having fun. And, it's always sad when kids are left behind and,
He was categorically out of his mind. I mean, he was
awesome.
I mean, he was crazy. When it came to
that comes in handy in Derby.
It came to driving. I mean, he would just go hard, like right now, fast, straightforward, that kind of thing. He actually, Chad. It was an interesting thing. One of the first times we were out there, my first experience was with Chad. I thought he was about to rip somebody's face off. He had come across the track and he had smoked this guy in the driver's door. Totally accidental. Totally. And he jumped out of the car and disappeared, and a bunch of the officials sort of chased after him, thinking that he was getting out of the car to fight. And I think everybody, that was their immediate reaction, and that wasn't the case at all. He was genuinely upset. I mean, visibly shaken. And he just loved the sport and didn't want to hurt anybody and loved driving hard. And the guy was okay and got out of the car. And Chad then rushed the track, again being stopped by officials who he blew through like a teddy bear and a wood chipper. He flew through them and got to the guy and gave him a hug on the track. Just huge hug and huge show of emotion and stuff. And that was a rather endearing story, of the type of sportsman and competitor that he was. There's also the story of when he mooned a number of people at the track, but I mean, that kind of stuff happens too.
Happens sometimes.
That happens.
Real spirited competitor, and everybody liked him, and well loved guy, and it leaves a hole in that community. There's not a lot of guys in Dunkirk that can say that they haven't, in some way, shape, or form, had their Derby career affected by him, be it just the kind favor of transporting your car or the kind favor of having a bumper wrapped around a carburetor.
Either way, part of the show.
Trying to find some more of the pictures that we had lined up of Chad. There's one. This is the bloody nose picture. There it is. That's from the stock show at Lake Erie, and you can see the coolant is just pouring out of the front end of that car, and he never lifted off of it. That's Pat Osmond, who eventually won that, and the black Chrysler.
Yeah, he's definitely got her nosing up there. That's definitely tell that's been doing some driving.
Uh-huh.
Yep. But yep, Chad Ellman, 42, and taken too soon. Definitely taken too soon. I'm still, man, that surprised the crap out of me that Jeremy Ertman called.
That's cool. That is very cool, though. But and that again, I never realized. I mean, even before we were involved with this, on We Crash and stuff, I don't know if I just didn't pay attention to where people are from or what. But I mean, there's a huge following of Derby in Minnesota, and it's definitely a hotbed, definitely a place to go and see some good wrecking.
That's Chad taking a shot.
I was gonna say that's a rough shot there.
That's in the they call that the full size class, and they're all Imperials, and they are all
they're built
really hard.
Yeah.
Well, he's part of the I call it the old school niche. I mean, he's my age, and he's up there with Pat Smith, Wayne Clemens, all the Clemenses, and Osmond, and all them guys, and Hank and all them. I hate to say it, guys, but they ain't spring chickens, So they've been around a while, and it's like you said. I mean, it's those guys are just a great group of guys in the Derby world, and personally, like Brian said, I never personally met the guy, but it's just one of them things. I mean, everybody seems to be getting taken younger and younger every year, and it's a bad
habit. Let's turn that around.
Yeah,
let's do away with that.
Nate Smith runs up there. And Jared Talbot, another guy who runs up there. And, I mean, if you haven't ever gotten up to that track, you need to go. It's a fairly wide track, and it's really, really long, and they just blow through everything. Everything is annihilated. We were up there one year, and I can't remember the driver's name, but he had Alumina, and it had been a bit rusty, as it were, right behind the driver's seat, and he was driving it forwards as you would with Alumina, and sure enough, he took a shot in the back end, and it buckled it up, so the back bumper started to go aerial. He put it in drive and drove away, and it had broke underneath the seat. The front of the floor dug into the dirt. He proceeded to drive forward, and the whole underside of the car folded up from underneath it, so the back tires were facing the sky, and it was still connected to the back bumper. There was another compact show out there where the car was basically the driver's door, and the front bumper and everything else had just evaporated. This is a 716, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this to Brian for a moment. I'm going to take this and put them on. Hang on.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I missed him.
You missed him.
There you go. Call back.
There you go. Star 69.
This is Chris. Hey, how are you? Can I put you? Hang on 1 second. Can I put you on?
I could hear her over here with my headphones on.
Yeah, I was going to say.
She's excited.
Because I opened up that
Oh, I
microphone
was going
getting
to
ready.
say. Holy shit, that's not my mom calling, is it?
No, but she's listening tonight. She sent me a message.
Yeah, she is. She's listening.
There we go. Who have we got here?
My name's Stephanie.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
We're doing good. Thanks for calling in. You were telling me a little bit about Chad, and just wonder if you had any thoughts that you wanted to add to the show before we wrapped up here.
Well, he was just so fast and furious, and he would be looking down right now, just so happy that you were broadcasting this show. This is just awesome, and we all loved him, and he drove like he didn't even have brakes on his car, and that's what demo's all about, you know?
That was the case a couple times. There's a good picture of him. This is a microcosm of what Chad's all about right here. I mean, you barely see over the nose of the car. The nose is just sent to the sky, smoke and steam pouring out, and that's pretty much what his stuff looked like after every run. And he'd pull it down and band-aid the thing back together and bring it back the next time. Stephanie, how did you know Chad? You still there? Hey, caller.
Way to go, Chris. I blame that on you.
Yeah, it could be. Did I lose you?
Yeah. Well, I remember a quote from years ago from over at Weedsport from when Pat Smith and Wayne Clemens, all them were over there. They got guys were getting upset because they were getting hit hard and this and that, and they come right out and said after the Derby, if you don't like getting hit, play golf.
It's true, man.
Seriously, I mean, and that's the type of mentality. They're from up that area. That's that type of mentality. I mean, they like to drive hard and just put a show on. And
every year I keep waiting for Chris to invite me up to watch that show, but he's never done it yet.
I did
so
this year.
I'm kind of hurt, but
yeah.
Maybe.
Well,
you know what?
I'm too hot-headed.
Maybe I'll have to. Maybe Ben and I'll drive up there by ourselves since we're not invited to go.
You can follow me.
Smashed Empire Films.
You want to follow me? You're
I wouldn't follow you. It's dangerous.
You wouldn't be able to keep up.
It's like crazy. you have no clue about it. I have better vehicles. How fast we've gotten places.
It's a great show up there.
Yeah,
I mean,
I've seen tons of videos.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of Chris's videos, and they definitely put on the show.
They have an '80s class. Tori Mustarella is another regular up there. Dave King.
Tori, forgot about Tori.
Dave King, Ken Harvey runs up there. We talked about Pat, Steve, Eric, Mike and Dave Riddle are regulars up there. Don Dillenberg, another guy that runs up there. Kevin Seeley is just getting into it. His generation above him, Art Seeley, he's got a Baldwin for his Imperial.
That probably moves it pretty well.
Does just fine.
Just as the Baldwin, just the small one or the big one.
I don't actually know.
Either one, don't matter.
It still, I mean, it was pretty cool to see that thing was just humming out there.
Yeah.
And Johnny Robinson, that dude, he's nuts. I love watching him run. He had an Imperial that, and these aren't chain and go Imperials. Like, you can overlap the door seam both directions by about 6 inches from the top to the bottom with diamond plate for driver safety. And you got these cars, like, they plate the split between the
Plate the
firewall and the
vise,
bumper.
yeah.
All that stuff's done right. And when I'm talking plate, it's like plate. And I'm gonna go ahead and pick this one up.
Same number?
I don't think so. Different number.
Yeah, they're definitely built. I can tell
Oh,
from
yeah.
the video and the pictures.
You're on the crash course.
This is Stephanie. I got lost on the conversation.
I don't know what happened there. Glad you called back though.
Stephanie, we apologize. Chris is a rookie. It's first time playing with
Technical
phones.
difficulties there.
We apologize.
I mean, truthfully, think about it. This is only the second or third time that we've
Right.
done
Actually
it.
had a
Open up-
caller, huh?
Yeah,
It's your fault. We get it. It's okay.
No, I'm
Sure.
taking full responsibility.
FaceTime.
Absolutely.
Can we do FaceTime instead?
No. Nope. I appreciate the idea, and we could probably make Skype work if we had given it the forethought, but we didn't, so we're not gonna.
I don't think you want to open Skype up.
We use Skype on the 31st lap.
Yeah, but
we
you're
used-
talking. Never mind.
But tell us a little bit more about some of your memories with Chad.
So, in Little Valley this summer for the fair, and went out and drove like hell on wheels. And at the end, they were calling him up. He's like, Chad, yeah, they're calling you up. You gotta win. I'm like, yeah, but you gotta come up.
Right.
He got up and he found out that there had been a little boy that had been sick and passed away, and left a memorial in his dedication. And he looked over to his family and his brothers and his friends, and he got teary-eyed and cried. And he didn't win, but that day he felt like he was a winner.
Absolutely.
Chad didn't win a lot of features, but there was a really cool story where he had an Imperial that he was trying to get running in 2010. He was taking the car to Cattaraugus, and Hank Pensick was telling me the story, and they finally somehow got the thing to run when they put a Buick distributor on the motor, and they still got it to work, and it ran, and he got put on the wall just about right away, and so it mounted to nothing. They never touched it until the following year when it came time to go to Little Valley in 2011, and he took it over there, and I think he ended up winning with it. So that was pretty neat. That was a good story.
That's cool.
And you said that was at Little Valley as well, right? Stephanie?
Yes.
That was at Little Valley as well, right?
Yeah, that was Little Valley, August.
It was just this year. All the services and stuff. A lot of people there.
Oh, on Friday night there had to be over 1,000 people, and it had to be a blizzard outside. I mean, the snow was coming down. People were walking blocks. Police officers were lined up outside. It's simply amazing. I mean, just old people trotting through the snow just to pay their respects to family and the friends. It's just amazing. Little kids crying, I've heard, and just it's sad. He's going to be very missed.
Yep, very much so. I mean, there's no question about that. The picture that's up here right now, that's Chad in the Great Imperial, and behind him in the F4, that's his brother. I believe Jimmy is in the car at that point. Jimmy ended up taking a car similar to that and won here in the last 2 years. And Todd had just a gorgeous Imperial at the fair this year, and that thing got pretty well waffled at the Lake Erie show. They finished that thing off, but finish it off is a relative term. Finish it off for that night. They're going to go home and fix it. It'll probably
Bring it back again.
Yep.
Chad was working on an Imperial for this year. He was going to have a car, so undoubtedly they're going to have a car there in Chad's honor. And I hear that there's going to be a solid representation of the Dunkirk community at the Kings of Old School show now, and they allege that they are going to drive the way that Chad did, which that's bad news.
That's cool.
And I think there's going to be a very strong presence from that community at Kings of Old School on the 6th of June.
Cool.
Yeah,
Very cool.
very
Nice.
cool. Stephanie, any final thoughts before we let you go?
No, I just hope everybody goes out and has a good time in his memory.
I don't think that's going to be a hard thing to do. There's, everybody knows how he drove, and he's a real well-respected guy out in Western New York, and they're going to represent and honor him well.
Okay, one.
Say that again.
No, thanks.
I appreciate it.
Okay, thank you.
Stephanie,
Good night.
thanks a lot. Take care. And there goes Stephanie. We got to call her every day. She remembered
Very cool.
Chad, and
Yeah.
it worked out pretty well.
I don't know.
What do you guys think?
I think Oregon's going to beat Ohio State.
Yeah, I gotta go. I gotta go to Walmart. I gotta go to Walmart after this and grab some stuff, and then we're gonna head home. I'm gonna keep an eye on that game. I want to see Oregon win, but at the same time,
Urban Meyer's a great coach, but I think it's going to be Oregon.
it's just that time, right?
I think so.
Yeah,
That's my
I
feeling.
think that's inevitably that's what's going to happen. Well, I got to check in and see what the score is on the Hunters game.
They're probably up by 60.
Yeah, it's I was hemming and hawing. I wanted to go to that game, but he says, "Dad, don't worry about it. Last time we played him, we beat him by like 70 points." So I said, "All right, so I'll go do the podcast, buddy."
So again, programming note: we're gonna have Reg Bono and Jeff Showman here in studio, all the way in from Canada at some point. So appreciate those guys. They're willing to make the drive down. Something they want to do, and that makes us feel real good that Jeff went so far to say that to appear live in the studio is a bucket list thing. That's pretty cool.
Well, that's cool. Yeah, that's
Very
awesome,
cool.
man.
He's bringing Reg Bono, which that's going to be cool to talk to him. You know what I mean? He's a guy that is known in that neck of the wood, just like so many other guys, Bobby Cusno and Rick Clark that we've talked to and talked about, and that's going to be a good time. But we got to set a date still. It's coming.
Are you going to have your people work on that?
I am going to work on it. Yes,
Just checking.
Okay.
my
Just
people,
checking.
my people. I love it when you say that stuff. My people.
Well, you do like to talk to yourself once in a while, so
I
that's why
do.
we want to
I
say
do talk
that's
to-
why we say your people to make your whole,
Laugh all you want, but there are people in this room that can verify that I do talk to myself. Yes, that does happen.
At least
Well,
3 of
yeah.
them.
I quit when I started answering myself.
Yeah, that's when it gets bad.
And I started arguing with myself. That was the end of it.
How many live viewers we got tonight, Mr. Marquardt?
I don't know. It says that there's 25, and total view time is 23 hours, which means that all of them have been on for just about the whole show. Josh Buell said it was a great show, and Sam Bandow said that once he's done watching the Crash Course podcast, college football can wait because he's got some work to do.
He's just sent us a couple pictures of what he may or may not be bringing to WinterSLAM, so that'll be cool to see.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, figures I gotta get hurt.
Sent us some other stuff.
Yeah.
Be a good time.
Keep your eyes. WinterSLAM is going to be a lot of fun, and that is just around the corner.
It is.
I
like
mean,
2
it
weeks.
is just around the corner.
3 weeks.
3 weeks. Let's not rush this. Let's not rush that.
Yeah, I think this year would have been a lot of fun at the
After party?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I know a lot of the people that I just met.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
know them over the year.
Yep. Definitely.
When I get told last year, "Oh, don't worry about him. Just pick him up and drop him on his head on the floor, and he'll stop."
It did happen.
It did happen.
Yeah.
It did happen.
Yeah.
I blame that on Chris Marquardt.
Don't wander in that hornet's nest either.
No.
Don't stumble upon something. Not good. Not good.
It'll be fun.
Yeah,
Be
I'll
fun.
make up for it. I won't miss them. I'll be at a bunch of them.
Yes, it's going
Absolutely.
to be a busy summer. Going to be a good summer. Looking forward to it. And well, I guess that's going to do it. We covered. Oh, well, one more thought. Duncan Cram, Jack Clark, they're both watching at home. So the show was good. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Jack Clark loves this show. Like, he doesn't miss a minute. And then after it's over with, he shuts his computer off or shuts the live stream off and goes to YouTube and sits there and waits for it to process so he can watch it again.
Really?
Yeah, that dude,
That's great, man.
he loves it.
Jack's cool.
He
awesome.
I get a message from him every now and again. Some good show, stuff like that. He just seems like a real good dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is awesome. Again, I've said it 100 times. I mean, the fact that so many people, enjoy the show and enjoy watching. I mean, that's just it's so awesome to me. It's glad we guys can give you a little bit of a derby fix until the stuff starts rocking again.
It's getting to a point where it's wrecking year round.
Yeah, you ain't kidding.
There's truly no break.
It's not a break.
It's like NASCAR.
No, it's pretty much year round.
Yeah, last show November, first show February.
And all it's going to take is somebody to do a Christmas derby.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. That is not true. What you just said, Brian, is incorrect.
What's that?
The first derby of the year is the 25th of January. That's
my birthday. We discussed that.
Pine City, Tennessee.
You're right. I apologize.
As far as I know. Now, that's not to say that there wasn't one after.
Well,
I almost want to say there was. I think there was one.
I know there's some Duros.
After Topeka.
Well,
after Blizzard Bash.
There was the one in the Turkey
Bowl.
After
Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving.
The one in Amarillo.
Yeah.
And then
December.
Thought there was one in Florida in December last year. I don't know if there was one this year. I thought, but I'm going off of memory.
We'll put it out there. Somebody needs to do one in December.
Do it in December,
so
preferably at the auditorium in Utica.
Yeah.
Carrier Dome in Syracuse.
Yeah. They're playing basketball. They can't do that. That's crazy.
No, they're out of town.
They ain't got enough parking.
Why are you?
Yeah, there's no indoor. There's no indoor.
No,
I was thinking about that when I was watching the football game.
Syracuse Hill's terrible for that.
Why are you talking about such absurdity? My idea is far more realistic.
No, my idea is better. They need to build an arena at the new casino.
There you go.
Yes.
Let's put this in.
Listen, this is what needs to happen.
Contact Sessler for his new $100 million project. He needs an indoor facility.
I think Smashed Empires.
That's it for this episode. That's it.
No, seriously.
What? I'll give you the
Smashed Empire.
I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt.
Smashed Empire as a whole. All of the branches of Smashed Empire, Reckless Abandon, Smashed Empire Films, the Crash Course, should buy the old Seneca Army Depot. There's plenty of buildings where you can put heat in to run a derby in December and January.
And we got railroad tracks for them to bring them in.
On railroad. Asphalt. We got everything we need out there.
Are you high?
And if anybody gets in trouble, you got the
the prison and a jail right there. We're good. 15-minute drive for you to set up.
And they can't contaminate the soil anywhere.
Yeah, it can't get any more contaminated.
So you ain't got to clean nothing up. Run antifreeze all you want.
Yep, absolutely.
If this summer they've got the tarmac, so you can do it on asphalt too.
The airstrip.
Yeah, airstrip.
Yes.
And that's a big airstrip because they can land them C1, whatever they are.
One of the,
yeah.
Well, it's one of the last places they can actually land the space shuttle.
Yeah, they had the ability to land that there too if they needed it.
But
Chris is thinking. He's thinking, looking for backers.
But I like the Sessler idea out by the thruway because that's quick on and off. Casinos there, Petro.
And besides that, I mean, after the derby's over, you could go to the casino and just like when the guys go to Vegas to race.
Yeah. See.
What's it's South Seneca Ambulance isn't far from the depot either.
Nope.
No, right up
North
street.
Seneca's right down the road from the casino.
I think so. Yeah.
And they can even see white deer while they're there.
Oh yeah, you can see the famous white deer, the Seneca County, the Seneca.
Maybe
Army
we can
Depot.
call it the annual
White Derby demo.
White Derby deer demo.
I was almost with you, and then you kept talking.
And all
stopped.
proceeds would go to the white deer.
White deer. There you go.
Save the white deer.
Whoever won the show could get a free shot.
When was the last derby where a deer was hit in the middle of it?
That could give you a $1,000 bonus.
Yeah, that would be cool.
No, because you don't have a permit.
That's true.
Those white deer.
It's a nuisance permit.
Those radioactive deer.
Nuisance.
Then you'd get PETA after you. If a deer was killed during a derby, PETA would be after you.
Pete would be there.
Pete would be there. Pete would probably come up for that one.
You're intriguing.
I am.
I like the Sessler idea. All they got to do is put up a big pole barn.
Oh yeah.
So it's covered.
The key isn't solely that. The key isn't solely that. You got to have building.
It is.
It's not solely that. No, you got to have places to work on the cars.
Yeah, it is.
That's true.
They got 500 acres out there.
Yeah, they could put up a lot of lean-tos and stuff to work on cars.
I'm telling you, Chris. I've researched it.
And listen, this is what you do. To cut down on some of your problems, you build.
You know what I think? I think this is what you should do.
Listen,
what I think you should do.
You
Either that or have it on the landfill.
That'd be cool. But what spark it would ignite that thing and explode.
On the topic of contaminated soil.
But you could build a huge indoor.
They would make another derby in Waterloo that Brian could talk about too.
There'd be like 3 of them if we did that.
We'd just be missing one famous person.
We would.
Josh Decker.
No.
Oh.
Who?
Never mind. I'm not going to make him famous anymore.
Who? Josh Buell?
No.
Oh.
No, Josh Buell would come run.
Absolutely.
Everything would run. Imperials, everything. Suicides.
Yeah, absolutely.
Joker spindles.
Joker
ball
spindles, everything.
Everything you can run. Just
6-inch spikes out of your tires.
yeah.
The battle at Seneca Meadows?
Build to have fun. That'll be the key.
Nope.
We could run the Brodzinski all aluminum wheels.
You guys have lost your minds collectively. This was the moment. Mark it on the calendar. 7:10 p.m. on the 12th of January. Brian and Ben went crazy.
This was a short drive for us.
Everybody,
I got people that'll argue with that. This happened a long time ago.
Everybody's commenting.
Shut up. Stop.
Most of them are all saying the same thing. Shut your computer off. You had a really good show going, and then Brian started talking.
That's all right.
Hey.
What are you gonna do?
I'm intrigued by it, but I don't see how you could ever get anybody in. They're fighting hard enough to get the casino there. Imagine the lines. Pete Hansen rolls in, all the lines go right to crap. Gambling lines, you know what I mean?
Absolutely. I mean, yeah, he'd probably be the odds-on favorite.
He would be.
He'd bring the car he ran 6 times last year.
He'd show up with the Riviera. He just holds it down.
Which one? Blizzard Bash or Keystone Nationals?
Just the Riviera.
Just checking. Hey, what's it like to have that ride offered to you and turn it down?
It was easy.
Just wondering.
It was easy. It was not hard.
Just
And
wondering.
then he got flash burn on his eyes too.
Yeah.
That was
Trying to get it ready for you.
that was horrible. He was gonna drive that thing.
No, he wouldn't have drove
You don't
that.
want me driving a derby car.
My prediction will be he'll be there this year.
Keystone?
Nationals.
I think he will be.
Yeah.
I think he will be.
Think so?
I hope so.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. I mean, it definitely adds to the show to have him there. I mean,
Back to back. I mean, you kind of want him there.
Yep. 3-peat. They're tough to do in any sport.
Rick Clark weighing in.
Because I'll bet against them just so. Usually.
Rick Clark says, "Welcome back, man."
Thank you,
he's
Rick.
watching live.
Thank you, Rick. Thank you very much.
Oh, next week? No, it won't be next week. It'd be probably the second week of February. We'll probably reveal some of the award winners. All the awards for Smashed Empires.
Crazy ones.
Yeah.
Go on, Chris.
Do we tell them now so that they can make sure that they have time to get there, or do we wait and unveil it in a WeGo, like we do traditionally, and risk the fact that they're not going to be there? Because last year we had that problem. There were several people that weren't there. Do we do it early so they have the chance to come, or do we do the unveiling at the party? Right? See what I mean?
Absolutely. I don't know.
I'd unveil it at the party. I mean, if you want to make sure they're there or not, just
Say, hey, come to the party.
hey, make sure you come to the party.
That I've done that with a couple people.
You know,
I've said, hey, make sure you're in a WeGo. If I haven't already heard them say that they're going to go, you need to make sure you go.
hey, it's
Rumor has it tickets are still available.
Oh, yeah. Tickets are still available.
Things are brisk.
Yes, they are moving along at quite the clip. It's going to be full again.
yeah. I got to drive down to Brett's this week.
Go check things out.
No, I'll just go.
They
You
got to
got
check
time.
things out while you're down there. He hauled 2 more in.
Yeah.
Got a couple food
I'm sure.
trucks.
I'm sure Josh will be there.
Cadillac in the shop. Rumor has it.
Well, in
All
any
right.
case,
In that
in at least 6 weeks, everybody will know who the award winners are, because the trophies are in. They're at the house now, and we'll be giving those away at the banquet February 28th. Should be fun.
By we, you mean you?
Yes,
Just checking.
unless you want to help me sort them.
Nah, I'm not good with breakable stuff.
I
That's why I don't touch your computers and cameras and stuff.
Wise
very often.
decision on your part. Wise decisions. All wise decisions.
Try to do my best.
All right. Well, for Crash Course number 67, I think that's going to do it. We appreciate it. Thanks a lot for Stephanie for calling in. That's cool. And once again,
Jeremy
condolences.
Ertman for calling in and talking
Yes,
with your brother.
that was cool,
cool. Matt for being on.
Yep. It was,
Welcome back, Ben, again.
Yep. There's Ben.
Okay.
Everybody's
Nice.
excited. Ben's back.
Yeah.
It can be.
That'll be short-lived.
It's a show again.
Absolutely.
You can get your swear counter going up again.
Wasn't bad tonight. We were behind a little bit.
I don't think. Yeah, you were out of. I think you're out of practice.
No.
Any Northeast?
Not out of practice.
Northeast. Yeah, forgot about that. I had planned on doing that. Even teased it. Northeast Championship, 6 days now. Did you see that? 10,000 to win. And Northeast Championship at the Brockton Fair is going to be. It's moving ahead a week. It's now going to be the 3rd, 4th, 5th, and then 9th, 10th, 11th of July. Busy stretch for for the folks over Wood Booger Demolition Derbies, $10,000 to win, guaranteed. Now they've come out with that. It's a lot of money. A lot of money. And 6 days. 6 days is going to be a long time. They got a big team format show on one of their first nights, which is going to be taking nothing away from Chuck and Tom Taylor. Tom Taylor ended up second, and Chuck Buckman winning it for the second time in his career. It's a fun show. It's a fun show up there, and 6 days is a lot of derby.
So you're going to be up there for a whole week?
I'm not sure how it's going to work yet, because that sits right on top of Penn Yan.
Where?
Oh,
Where?
Penn Yan.
Penn, yeah.
Yates County Fair.
Yates County Fair.
Oh.
Sits right on top of that show, and
One of the biggest derbies in upstate New York.
so I got to figure
All
out.
time have you done, right, Chris?
Well, I mean, it's just, you asked. You asked. It's going to be a busy summer, I know that much. Still trying to figure out where all we're going to go. We were talking to John Pack and a little bit about some of
Do you have
some of
that
his
one
shows
in,
out there.
are we doing that show in Aruba that we talked about?
Aruba?
Or? Yeah.
Aruba, the jet ski derby? No, I don't think so.
Damn.
Not yet. We're still in talks. We got to get out of here before this spirals downhill completely. Guys, that's going to do it for us again. Thanks a lot to Stephanie calling in and talking about Chad. Condolences out to that family. Thanks to Matt Ertman. Jeremy Ertman for calling in. Welcome back, Ben. Thanks for being part of the show one more time. We'll look forward to seeing you again next week. There's Brian. Thanks a lot for coming out. Again, I'm Chris Marquardt. That's going to do it for this edition of the Crash Course Podcast, and we'll see you right back here next week.